Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. In today's video, we're going to explore something really interesting and exciting. Stay with us and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. We're talking about the 1967 USA 1 dime coin. This small, unassuming coin has a lot to say about the country's culture, economy, and, of course, its place in the hearts of coin collectors today. But first, let's step back in time and set the scene for this coin's creation. 1967 was a year of great change and transformation in the United States. The world was in the midst of a social and cultural revolution. The country was at the height of the Vietnam War, and the civil rights movement was gaining momentum. The summer of '67 even saw the infamous Summer of Love in San Francisco, where young people flocked to the streets in search of peace, love, and freedom. The world was changing in ways that no one could have predicted, and amid all of this, the U.S. Mint was working on something quite special, something that would reflect the times and yet stand the test of time itself, the 1967 dime. At this point, the dime was a familiar coin to most Americans, though the 1967 version had some unique characteristics. It still bore the same famous design that had been in circulation since 1946, but there was one very important difference that sets it apart from the rest. Unlike other coins in circulation at the time, the 1967 dime came at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from using silver to more affordable materials due to the rising cost of precious metals. That means, while earlier dimes were made mostly of silver, the 1967 dime was a mix of copper and nickel. This was a significant move in American coinage, and it marked the last year that a dime would be minted with any silver content, making the 1967 dime particularly notable in the history of American numismatics. Let's pause for a moment and look at the design of this iconic coin. The obverse of the 1967 dime features Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, a design created by the artist John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's profile is dignified and solemn, a perfect reflection of his leadership during World War II and his role in shaping the country in the decades following the war. This design was chosen because Roosevelt had passed away in 1945, and the nation wanted to honor his legacy, his dedication to public service, and his role in leading the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse side of the 1967 dime, we see the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch design, which has symbolized freedom, peace, and strength since its introduction. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch is a symbol of peace, and the oak branch stands for strength and independence. This design is both elegant and full of meaning, making it one of the most iconic in American coinage history. But let's not forget about the important transition that took place in 1967. While many people were focused on the political and social upheavals happening across the globe, the U.S. Mint was busy adapting to the changing economic climate. In fact, the 1967 dime is the last to feature any silver content. In 1965, due to the rising price of silver, the U.S. Mint made the decision to reduce the silver content in dimes and quarters. The 1967 dime, which is composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, would be the last to feature the slight trace of silver that earlier dimes possessed. This change in the composition of the coin was more than just a shift in metal, it was a turning point in the history of U.S. coinage. Collectors started to pay attention, knowing that this would mark the end of an era for silver-based coins. While the switch to copper-nickel coins was necessary due to economic reasons, it also made older, silver-based coins like the 1967 dime far more attractive to collectors. But what exactly made the 1967 dime so special from a collector's standpoint? First off, because it was the last year that the dime featured any silver, collectors knew that the 1967 coin would eventually gain significant value over time. There were also rumors swirling that some 1967 dimes had been struck with a slight error in their minting process, which added an element of mystery and excitement to the coin. Collectors began to search high and low, looking for rare versions of this coin that might have been struck with flaws that would increase their worth. Now, This brings us to the value of the 1967 dime today. It might surprise you to learn that this seemingly unremarkable coin is worth much more than you might expect. Due to its place in history, its rarity, and some specific errors that were made during minting, a 1967 dime in exceptional condition can command an impressive price. But the real jaw-dropper is the value of a specific version of the coin, one of the 1967 dimes with an error. Yes, the infamous 1967 no mint mark dime, which was mistakenly struck without a mint mark, has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world. If you were to find one of these dimes today, you could be looking at a value of up to $148,000. That's right, $148,000. A small, 1967 dime could fetch such an incredible sum if it's the right one, in pristine condition, and with the right error. That's a testament to the rarity and uniqueness of this coin, and to the incredible world of coin collecting where even the smallest of treasures can bring in life-changing sums of money. But how do you know if your 1967 dime is worth this kind of money? The key lies in the details. First, make sure that the coin you're holding is indeed a 1967 dime, and then look closely for the absence of a mint mark. You'll also want to check for signs that the coin hasn't been damaged or worn down over the years. Coins in near-mint condition, especially those with a rare error, are the ones that will fetch the highest prices at auction. So, if you happen to come across a 1967 dime in your pocket change or in an old coin jar, it might be worth taking a closer look. While most of the 1967 dimes you find today won't be worth more than their face value, you never know. You might just have a rare gem in your hands. In the end, the 1967 USA 1 dime coin is more than just a piece of currency. It's a snapshot of American history, a reflection of the country's changing times, and a lasting reminder of the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Its design, its materials, and its place in numismatic history make it a coin that continues to captivate collectors and historians alike. So, the next time you come across a 1967 dime, remember, you're holding more than just a coin, you're holding a piece of history. In 1980, a seemingly ordinary dime was minted. It was a small, yet significant coin, holding the potential to be much more than just 10 cents. For most people, the dime was a familiar coin, used for everyday purchases, perhaps a cup of coffee, a newspaper, or a quick snack. But what if I told you that one particular dime, minted in that very year, could be worth a staggering $135,000 today? This isn't a story about any dime, but rather a rare anomaly, a coin that would become the centerpiece of numismatic collections across the world. To truly appreciate this story, we need to rewind a bit, to understand not just the coin, but the intricate history and craftsmanship that goes into minting a coin, especially one as seemingly ordinary as a dime. Let's first talk about the dime itself. At just 17.91 millimeters in diameter and weighing in at a mere 2.268 grams, the dime is one of the smallest and lightest coins in U.S. currency. Its size is almost deceptive, because despite its small form, the dime has carried a deep legacy. The history of the dime goes all the way back to 1796, and ever since, it's played an essential role in American coinage. In 1980, it was still a crucial part of everyday life, used in vending machines, public transportation, and countless other transactions. But 1980 wasn't just another year in the history of the dime. It was a year when the United States Mint produced a coin that, by all accounts, looked like any other dime. However, there was something unusual about a select few that would soon catch the attention of coin collectors and investors alike. So, what makes this 1980 dime so special? The answer lies in the minting process. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, but the process isn't flawless. Errors happen, and in rare instances, these errors result in coins with unique features that collectors consider valuable. That's the case with the 1980 dime, a coin that, under the right circumstances, became a rare anomaly. Imagine a dime that looked identical to the ones you'd find in your pocket. But there was one slight difference, one tiny error, the coin was missing a mint mark. This mint mark, a small letter on the coin that indicates which U.S. mint facility produced the coin, is a crucial detail for collectors. In 1980, most dimes were minted in Philadelphia, and coins from there were supposed to have no mint mark. But the error came in the form of a missing mint mark on some dimes that were supposed to be struck with a D for the Denver Mint. Without this mint mark, the coin was seen as an error, a rarity in the world of numismatics. At first glance, the idea of a missing mint mark might seem like an insignificant mistake. But in the world of coin collecting, errors like this are considered highly valuable. Coins with minting mistakes, such as double strikes, die cracks, or in this case, missing mint marks, can become sought-after treasures. This particular 1980 dime wasn't just missing its mint mark, it was perfectly struck in every other aspect. The design, the details, the overall appearance of the coin was flawless, save for that one detail. And that's where the intrigue began. As word spread among collectors, the demand for these dimes grew. But there was something more to this story. Why did this small error cause such a stir among collectors? Well, it all comes down to the rarity factor. Rare coins are valuable because they are unique, either due to a flaw in the minting process or simply because there were fewer produced. In the case of this 1980 dime, it became a highly sought-after error coin, and only a handful of them are believed to exist. The reason for its rarity lies in the fact that error coins are often removed from circulation or even destroyed by the minting process. It's not common for a minting error to escape into the world of currency, especially one that is as subtle as a missing mint mark. And so, the story of this dime began to spread. At first, collectors and enthusiasts were intrigued, but it wasn't until a few key pieces were sold at auctions that the true value of these dimes started to become clear. As more and more collectors learned of this rare 1980 error coin, demand surged. What was once a common dime from 1980 became a treasure, and collectors were willing to pay top dollar for a piece of history. The collector market for rare coins is fascinating because it operates on both rarity and condition. A coin might be rare, but if it's in poor condition, its value may be much lower. On the other hand, a rare coin in excellent condition, even with a small error, could fetch an astronomical price. In the case of the 1980 missing mint mark dime, the few examples that have been preserved in excellent condition are now worth far more than their original face value. So, you may be wondering, what's the value of these 1980 dimes today? Well, as of recent auction sales and private transactions, a single 1980 missing mint mark dime has been known to sell for as much as $135,000. That's right, a small, 10-cent coin, the same one that might have once been tucked into your pocket or tossed into a vending machine, is now worth a small fortune. But how did this value reach such staggering heights? To understand this, we need to dive deeper into the world of coin collecting and why certain coins can skyrocket in price. Coin collectors, or numismatists, have a deep appreciation for rare and unique pieces. These collectors often seek out coins not just as an investment but as a way to preserve a part of history. The 1980 missing mint mark dime is a piece of American history, a reminder that even the smallest mistakes in minting can lead to valuable discoveries. And for collectors, the thrill of hunting down such a rare coin adds to its value. It's also important to understand the role of scarcity in the coin market. The fewer examples of a particular coin that exist, the more valuable it becomes. Since only a small number of 1,980 dimes with missing mint marks are believed to exist in good condition, their rarity makes them incredibly desirable. This limited supply combined with the high demand for error coins has led to their impressive market value, but the story doesn't end there. Over the years, more and more collectors have become aware of the 1980 missing mint mark dime, and as the coin continues to gain notoriety, its value could continue to rise. Coin values often fluctuate based on trends in the collector market, and a coin that might be valued at $135,000 today could be worth even more in the future. So, what does this all mean for you as a potential collector or investor? It means that rare coins like the 1980 missing mint mark dime represent an opportunity to own a piece of history that has the potential for incredible returns. Of course, not every 1980 dime is worth $135,000. The condition, rarity, and authenticity of the coin play a significant role in determining its value. But for those lucky enough to find one of these rare coins in their collection or in their change, it could prove to be a life-changing discovery. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that it's a world of constant surprises. You never know when a seemingly ordinary coin will reveal itself to be a rare and valuable treasure. And sometimes, the coins that seem the most insignificant, like the 1980 dime, can hold the key to an incredible story of rarity, history, and fortune. As you can see, the 1980 USA dime is more than just a small, unassuming coin. It's a symbol of how a simple mistake in minting can lead to an unexpected treasure. Its value is a testament to the intricacies of the coin-making process and the passionate collectors who devote themselves to uncovering the rarest and most unique pieces in history. In 1994, the United States Mint struck millions of dimes that entered circulation, just like any other year. Most of these dimes, like the ones you might have carried in your pocket or used to buy a snack at the store, were perfectly normal. But little did anyone know, tucked away among the billions of coins was one dime that would later take on a story all its own. A story that would captivate coin collectors and investors alike, and lead to a jaw-dropping price tag. Yes, a 1994 dime, one of the smallest and most unassuming coins, would soon make its mark in numismatic history. Let's take a moment to think about this coin. At first glance, a dime might not seem particularly special. It's small, just 17.91 millimeters in diameter, and it weighs only 2.268 grams. It's easy to overlook, often disappearing into the depths of change jars or forgotten in the bottom of pockets. Yet, beneath its modest exterior, the 1994 dime, much like others in the long history of U.S. coinage, carries with it a story of craftsmanship, precision, and in some cases, remarkable rarity. The dime has always held a special place in American currency. First introduced in 1796, the dime was meant to represent 10 cents, a small denomination that would play a role in everyday transactions. Its design has evolved over time, from the early draped bust design to the more iconic images that followed. In 1994, the dime featured the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who has been the coin's face since 1946, a year after his death. Roosevelt's image on the dime symbolizes his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, an era that reshaped the American landscape. So why is the 1994 dime, in particular, such a noteworthy coin in the world of numismatics? The answer lies not in the coin's design, but in something far rarer, a subtle minting error that turned what seemed like a typical dime into something extraordinary. As we look back to 1994, the U.S. Mint was in the business of producing dimes in massive quantities, ensuring that the economy was well stocked with these small coins for everyday transactions. In fact, over 1.5 billion dimes were minted that year alone, making them a common sight in anyone's change. But among these billions, there were some coins that weren't quite like the others, coins that, through a mistake during the minting process, would soon become coveted collector's items. The error in question is a small, subtle mistake that involves the coin's obverse, the side that features Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait. The issue is a relatively rare one, but a handful of 1994 dimes were minted with an unusual feature that didn't meet the usual high standards of the U.S. Mint. Specifically, these dimes were struck with a double die error, meaning the image of Roosevelt was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions. This results in a blurry, sometimes distorted portrait that doesn't match the crisp lines typically seen on a properly minted coin. At first glance, the double die error may seem like an insignificant flaw, but in the world of coin collecting, errors like these are highly prized. Coin collectors, who often hunt for unique and rare items, know that even small deviations from the standard minting process can result in a coin that holds significant value. The double die error, though not common, is one of the more sought-after mistakes in U.S. coinage. It was a small anomaly, a simple mistake in the minting process, but it was a mistake that would go on to capture the attention of collectors and numismatists around the world. But before we dive into the specifics of how much these dimes are worth, let's take a moment to understand just how the minting process works and why such errors can happen in the first place. The U.S. Mint uses a highly detailed and intricate process to produce coins. Each coin is struck by a pair of dies, one for the obverse, the front side, and one for the reverse, the back side. These dies are meticulously crafted, and the details they imprint on the coins must be sharp and precise. However, the process isn't perfect. The dies can wear out over time, or the minting equipment can malfunction, leading to errors like the double die we see with the 1994 dime. In the case of the 1994 dimes with the error, the mistake happened when the dies were struck multiple times, resulting in the blurred, doubled image on the obverse. Though the double die error is subtle, it's noticeable to those who know what to look for. The portrait of Roosevelt appears somewhat blurry, with the outlines of his face and hair appearing in double. It's a small anomaly, but one that collectors with a keen eye will be able to spot immediately. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part of this story, the value of these 1994 error dimes. As is the case with most rare coins, the value of these dimes depends on several factors. First, it's the rarity of the error itself. Double die errors are relatively rare, but they do occur from time to time. However, the 1994 dime is special because it was not just a one-off error, it was a mistake that happened during the minting of millions of coins. That means that the few surviving examples of these coins have become incredibly valuable to collectors. The second factor that determines the value of these dimes is their condition. In the world of numismatics, the condition of a coin plays a major role in its value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70. The better the condition, the higher the value. In the case of the 1994 double die dimes, those that have survived in high-grade condition are the ones that fetch the most money. Coins with sharp details and minimal wear are the ones collectors are most interested in. And now, for the big reveal. You're probably wondering just how much a 1994 dime with a double die error is worth today. The value of these rare coins has skyrocketed over the years, especially as more collectors have become aware of their existence. Depending on the condition and the extent of the error, some of these dimes can fetch as much as $120,000 in today's market. It's truly remarkable to think that a coin that originally had a face value of just 10 cents is now worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But this is a testament to the world of coin collecting, where rarity, condition, and history all come together to create a perfect storm of value. The 1994 double die dime is a prime example of how a small error in the minting process can lead to big rewards for collectors who are fortunate enough to find such a coin. And as with all rare coins, the excitement of owning a piece of history, coupled with the potential for future gains in value, makes this dime a highly sought-after treasure in the world of numismatics. For anyone who's lucky enough to come across one of these rare 1994 error dimes, it's not just a coin, it's a piece of history. A piece of American currency that's both a collector's dream and a valuable asset. And who knows? If you happen to find one in your change, you could be holding on to a $120,000 treasure without even knowing it. In 2014, as the world continued to change and evolve, the United States Mint quietly produced millions of one-dime coins. These dimes, just like the ones you might have used for everyday purchases, a vending machine snack or a couple of quick bucks to make change, seemed like ordinary coins. But in the world of numismatics, where rarity and precision are held in the highest regard, even the smallest of coins can sometimes make a big splash. For many people, the dime was just a functional piece of currency, but what if I told you that the 2014 dime, a coin you may have held in your hand without a second thought, is now worth an astonishing $104,000? That's right, a small, unassuming 10-cent coin, which once sat in your pocket or perhaps collected dust in your spare change jar, has become the focus of intense collector interest and is now worth a fortune. But how did a 2014 dime become such a valuable commodity in the world of coin collecting? Let's rewind and take a closer look at the history, design, and circumstances behind the coin that would ultimately captivate the numismatic world. The dime has long been an essential part of American currency, dating back to 1796. Over the years, the design and significance of the coin have changed, but one thing has remained constant: its role in everyday transactions. While the penny and the nickel may have had their moments of fame in various coin-collecting circles, the dime, small, compact, and quick to circulate, is often the most overlooked coin in everyday life. Yet, in the world of coin collecting, small coins like the dime can carry immense historical significance, especially when a rare mistake happens during the minting process. To understand the incredible value of the 2014 dime, we need to first examine the coin's design and the historical context in which it was minted. The 2014 dime featured the familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt, who has graced the coin since 1946, a year after his passing. Roosevelt was chosen as the dime's feature because of his pivotal role during the Great Depression and World War II, a time that greatly shaped the direction of the country. The design itself, as envisioned by artist John R. Sinek, shows Roosevelt in profile, capturing the solemn and determined expression of the president. The reverse side of the coin features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. While the design itself remained unchanged in 2014, the coin's minting process was far from routine. The U.S. Mint, responsible for producing coins, produces billions of dimes every year to meet the needs of commerce. In 2014, dimes were struck in two primary facilities: the Philadelphia Mint, which was responsible for producing coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which produced dimes marked with a D mint mark. The dimes produced in 2014 were part of an ongoing effort to keep up with the demand for smaller denominations, ensuring that the American public could continue to use coins as part of their daily exchanges. For most people, 2014 dimes were used and forgotten, circulating through vending machines, tip jars, and pockets. But not all of these dimes would stay in circulation. Among them, a small handful of 2014 dimes were struck with a crucial error that would make them highly valuable to collectors, a mistake that would go unnoticed by the general public, but would later turn this ordinary coin into a rarity. This error, as subtle as it may seem, made the 2014 dime stand out from the billions of other dimes minted that year. It was an error related to the positioning of the dies used to strike the coin. You see, the U.S. Mint uses two dies to create the images on the obverse and reverse sides of the dime. These dies must line up perfectly during the minting process to ensure that the details are sharp, crisp, and accurate. In some rare cases, however, the dies can become misaligned. When this happens, the resulting coin can have an offset image, causing parts of the design to appear blurry or doubled. These kinds of minting errors are rare, and they often result in coins that are far more valuable than their intended counterparts. For the 2014 dime, a small number of coins were struck with this type of die misalignment, resulting in a double strike. The result was a coin that, at first glance, looked just like any other dime. But upon closer inspection, collectors began to notice something wasn't quite right. The design on these coins was not as crisp as it should have been. Instead of a clear, sharp image of Roosevelt's profile, there was a slight doubling effect on the features of his face, especially around his cheek and ear. The details on the reverse were similarly affected, with the olive branch, torch, and oak branch showing signs of doubling and misalignment. It was a small error, but one that would be noticed by sharp-eyed collectors, who are always on the lookout for coins that stand out due to minting mistakes. In the world of coin collecting, these errors are highly prized, especially when they're so subtle that they might have easily gone unnoticed by anyone else. The discovery of these 2014 double-struck dimes spread throughout the numismatic community, demand for these coins skyrocketed. Collectors and investors alike were eager to get their hands on these rare pieces of U.S. history, and over time, the value of these coins grew exponentially. The key factors driving the price were their rarity. There weren't many of these double-struck dimes, and the fact that they were in excellent condition. Unlike some errors that may become worn down or damaged as they circulate, the 2014 double-struck dimes that survived in pristine condition were highly coveted. As with any rare coin, the value of the 2014 double-struck dime depends heavily on its condition. Coins are graded based on their appearance, with grades ranging from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70, the highest possible grade. A dime that has a clean, sharp image and minimal wear will fetch a much higher price than one that has been worn down through years of circulation. The most valuable of these 2014 era dimes have been preserved in near-perfect condition, which is why their value has reached such impressive heights. So, how much are these rare coins worth today? The answer may surprise you. A single 2014 double-struck dime in mint condition can fetch as much as $104,000 in the right market. That's right, a dime that originally had a face value of just 10 cents is now worth over $100,000. This is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting, where seemingly small and insignificant items can be transformed into treasures worth far more than their initial value. But why is a coin like this so valuable? It's all about rarity, historical significance, and the excitement that collectors feel when they come across an error coin. Error coins are prized for their uniqueness, their mistakes in the minting process that can never be replicated. And in the case of the 2014 double-struck dime, it's the subtlety of the error, combined with the fact that only a small number of these coins exist, that makes them so desirable. The value of these coins is also driven by the growing interest in modern error coins. As more collectors become aware of the potential for finding valuable coins in circulation, the demand for these rarities continues to grow. For those who are lucky enough to own a 2014 double-struck dime, the coin is not just a collector's item, it's an investment, a piece of American history, and a rare treasure that could appreciate in value over time. The 2014 US dime is a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. A small error, a tiny misalignment in the minting process, can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a remarkable piece of numismatic history. For the lucky few who own one of these rare dimes, their find is worth far more than its original face value. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars, and it serves as a reminder that in the world of coins, even the smallest details can make all the difference. So, next time you grab some change or take a look at the dimes in your pocket, take a closer look. That seemingly ordinary 10-cent coin could be hiding a rare mistake, one that could turn out to be worth a fortune.